Hello, everyone. How's everyone doing? Look at this, ladies and gentlemen. We have to say hello to one of our long lost sisters, one of the OGs of the AP channel, and that is Jan. Jan, is so good to see you. Oh my goodness. I'm so happy to see you, Jan. As soon as I saw your name there in blue, I was like, Jan is back. Jan, I hope I could talk to you. Oh man, anyways, I'm just happy to see you. So good to see you. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very happy to see everyone else that's here, but I haven't seen Jan in such a long time, and I just hope to my heart that you're doing well, Jan. So welcome back. No pressure, no pressure, but welcome back. You still have your blue on, okay? How's everyone else? Brad is in the house. Scott, how you doing, Scott? Evita is in the house. Say hi to Fabio if he's watching as well, Fabio. Prop Eng 205. Aaron Boone is here. Andrew, Salty Dog. I think I've seen someone else I haven't seen in a while. There's Nostradamus, Jennifer. Let's see. I saw someone else here that I haven't seen in a little bit. Sparky. Sparky's in the house. How you doing, Sparky? Good to see you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is the good, the bad, and the ugly. I'm sure that you've heard your fill of what's going on as far as Iran goes. And I would say this, make sure that your tanks are full. All right? Make sure your tanks are full. Everyone that's watching right now probably already has all of the basic things that they need in their homes in case any shortages come about. But make sure your gas tanks are full, because if what I hear is true, that the Strait of Hormuz has shut down for now, at least, that's going to make energy prices go up. And another thing that's going to happen, what I would be predicting that would happen, is that now this is not a good thing at all. I don't think war is good in any form. I've often said that war brings nothing but sorrow, right? And, people may think differently on what's going on. I have mixed feelings about what's going on over in Iran, but the fact of the matter is this, is that no one here, no one that's here right now watching, participating in this live stream, no one can affect the outcome of what's going on over there and the decisions that have been made on the behalf of we, the people, right? It doesn't matter how much you scream, jump up and down. It doesn't matter how happy it may make you. It matters not. No one here could affect the outcome. So what can we do? All we can do is what's in the best interest of we, the people, of first you and your families, your community, etc. Okay, so what happens is going to happen, and the effects that it's going to have on all of us is going to happen either way. So what I'm saying here is not because I'm happy of why it's going to happen, but I do believe that the markets on Monday are going to go crazy both ways. I can't predict what's going to happen with the stock market. I'm sure that there's going to be certain stocks, that are going to go up. I'm pretty sure that the price of precious metals are more than likely going to go up, because from what I understand, they've already gone up in the live physical market in the East. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see what happens tomorrow during the opening of the market. And we'll see what happens, ladies and gentlemen. And things like this is why we prepare. Because things that you need to be prepared for are not only things that happen in your backyard, but that can happen anywhere in the world. So keep in mind, make sure that your tanks are full. Make sure that you have all your basic necessities just in case. Something that I haven't heard too many people talk about, or in all reality, I haven't heard anyone talk about here in the last few hours after this started early this morning, I believe, is that a lot of people are forgetting that we had about roughly 20 million people come through our borders in the last several years, during the last administration especially. And a lot of those people were people that are called gotaways, that got here without being vetted, without even us, the US, knowing who they were or what their intentions are when they get here. Now, there are a few that were caught on video saying that I remember specifically doing a video on this of a man that was caught in the border crossing over that said, you're going to know who I am. Eventually, you will know who I am. And he was of Middle Eastern descent. So we forget that there are a lot of what are called sleeper cells here in the US. So I would also caution that not only have your preps, but be prepared no matter where you are, because you just never know what's going to happen. Even if you live in the most peaceful place on earth within the United States, you just never know what's going to happen. And I guarantee, not because I said so, but because our own government said so, that we do have bad actors embedded within the United States that are here in order to cause us harm. So, ladies and gentlemen, just keep your heads on a swivel. Make sure that you know what's going on around you at all times, and just be very cautious. I think that this is a very good time to practice what in the Army we call the buddy system, which means that if you're going to go somewhere, let's say, for example, you're going to go shopping, take a friend, go with someone else. Don't just go by yourself. All right. Just in case something happens, you can have someone there that will have your back. So use the buddy system. And I mean, we're living in crazy times. I've talked about this in depth in the past, that we are in what is called the fourth turning, which means that we are in the turning of crises, where things are going to happen that are not favorable, but it's a necessary evil that we must go through before we turn over into spring. Right now, we are in the winter months of this fourth turning cycle, ladies and gentlemen. It's a cycle like anything else. If you look back 60 years, what was going on 60 years ago? That is the cycle of civil unrest. If you're all old enough and you were living through the late 60s, what was going on during that time? A lot of civil unrest, a lot of animosity towards the government, the burning down of police stations, the attacking of people on the streets. Same thing that's going on now. And what we have is also a major war cycle. And that major war cycle, I believe, is like an 80 to 100-year cycle or so. So when was the last major war? It was World War II. And what's 80 years plus 44 or 41? We're right in the middle of it, ladies and gentlemen. So this is the time that if you are prepared, that you need to continue to fill in the gaps. You need to continue to encourage your loved ones, your friends, to stay prepared or get prepared, right? And those people that aren't, I would say that it's a very good time for you to start. And you don't have to go out there tomorrow and sell the house and spend every penny you have on preps, but slow and steady always wins the race, even during times of crises. So you need to get prepared. You need to stay prepared. It's something that we've all here on the preparedness community within YouTube had advocated for years. And although there's been times before now where it's been very beneficial to be prepared, example, the great fight over toilet paper back in the early 2020s, right? Remember that? People smacking themselves in the head over toilet paper. And that's just something that's very small, but we just never know how big of a crisis it will be. There's so many things that we can talk about, so many scenarios of why we need to be prepared, and so many reasons why the things that are happening and will continue to happen. I mean, we could take it any angle or any direction, but be ready, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm not sure what's going to happen with this one. I heard that that the leader of Iran, that he has expired. And if so, I guess the best I can say is may he rest in peace. May he be somewhere where, hopefully that he met his maker and that things worked out well for him. I don't know. But how is that going to affect us? The fact of the matter is that nobody really knows how that's going to affect us. But what do we prepare for? We prepare for when things happen that we cannot affect, that we cannot change. And this is one of those things that we cannot change no matter how much we wish it. We cannot change what's happened and or what will happen as a cause of it. Right? So just be ready and stay ready. I don't want to make this entire live stream just about talking about bad stuff, but ladies and gentlemen, bad things happen all the time, and we have to be ready to deal with it. And yes, a koala here, hello koala, says, don't forget to smash the thumbs up. Thank you very much. I do appreciate your support. Here's Italian Eddie. How you doing, Italian Eddie? Salty Dog is in the house. How you doing? Good to see you all. So as always, ladies and gentlemen, this live stream belongs to you all. I would like to chat back and forth. If there's anything that you want to comment and or ask, put it all in caps, and hopefully I will catch it. And there's Baby Root. And if you are new to the live stream, this is just the way it is. I have to say hello to the people that are on here. Sometimes, oh, look at that. Voodoo Queen is in the house. How you doing, Voodoo Queen? I really enjoy spending time with you all, and I find it difficult not to say hello every once in a while. So hello to everyone. Brian, how you doing, Brian? Good to see you. Linda Bopp is in the house. Hello. And yes, welcome back, Jan. Good to see you. Goodness gracious. Jan, I'm not sure if you've been watching the lives every now and then, but Copernicus is still around. She joins in every now and then. It's always very nice. Let's see. Already prepared. That's the way to be. One of the things about being prepared in any way is that you don't have to worry, right? You don't have to worry if this or that is not going to be available. And that's what preparedness is. It's not a way of hoarding. When you hoard things, because I've heard a lot of people call preppers hoarders, but it's not. When you're prepared, you're doing it in a systematic way that you're rotating your preps into your daily lives, and then you know that you're going to have all of the things that you need because you've made a deep larder, I guess you can say. You've deepened your necessities. So instead of having 1 can of corn in the pantry, you have 4, and now you know you have enough to get you through a month, for example. Right? If you only use 1 can of corn a week, right? So that's what it is. It's not about, you like my Buc-ee's t-shirt? it's a Texas one. Don't mess with Texas. But that's what preparedness is about. It's just being able to sustain the standard of living that you currently have in the case that those things that give to you your standard of living aren't available. That's all it is. It's very simple. Let's see. Art and Soul. How you doing, Art and Soul? Good to see you. There's Fabio. How you doing, JR? Good to see you, my friend. Always nice to see you. And I actually have some pretty good news to report on silver for any of you that want to hear. So I've been saying here for about the last 2 weeks or so that it looks to me like silver may be retracing back to the 200-day moving average, which is around the 50 to 55 or so level. And however, it's broken that bear flag pattern. If you all remember me talking about that, silver was forming a bear flag. It's actually broken the pattern, but we won't have confirmation until Monday. So for those of you that are tracking the price of silver and looking at it to see if it's going to go to the up or the down, it actually broke the pattern of that bear flag that we were tracking. And on Monday, if it stays above 92, now these are just my numbers. I'm not an expert, ladies and gentlemen, all right? So take this with a grain of salt, right? It's just me thinking out loud. If on Monday the price of silver closes the trading day above 92, I think that bear flag pattern will be broken, And then I think that it's going to be headed up to about $105, $106 before it takes a little bit of a rest, and then up and over to retest that $121 line. So we'll just have to see what happens. I'm still a little bit uncomfortable. I still feel a little bit of uncomfort, right? That it never retested that 55 level. It would have been so much nicer to retested that level around 55, 54, and then shot back up. That would have been extremely bullish. But circumstances like what's happened today with the attacking of Iran and the leader over there losing his life, these things come out of nowhere, and they have a big effect on all markets, not just the precious metals market. So let's see, who else do we have here? Brad is in the house. Sunset Gazing is in the house. How you doing? Good to see you. Every time I see Jan's name pop by, I just want to smile. Tommy Bites is in the house. How you doing, Tommy Bites? Good to see you. Sean in Alaska is in the house. We have all of these YouTube stars in the house today. Good to see all of you. Oh, goodness. That's right, Edita. Very good. All we can do is prepare like our lives depend on it, because it just might. It just might. And I'll tell you what, we've been very lucky here in Alaska, in Fairbanks, Alaska. We've had some major snowstorms. We actually just got over the last one. We had roughly 18 inches of snow drop in like a 2.5-day period. I actually just had the driveway done here a couple of days ago because, oh my goodness, we had so much snow. And selfishly thinking, I was like, man, I hope we lose power so that I can test out my equipment. But we didn't lose power once. It worked out pretty good. One thing I can say, I've never complained about the price of electricity here in Alaska, even though it's, I think it's like the highest in the country, with the exception of California, I believe. We pay like 38 cents, either 34 or 38 cents per kilowatt hour, which is really high. It's about 3 to 4 times higher than the average in the US. But one thing is that the electric company here, man, they do a great job. Like, I never complain about having to pay an electric bill, even though they were pretty high, because during the winter months, even during blizzards, whenever we would lose power, they were out there fixing those lines at -40, -45. And here, as I thought a couple of weeks ago that we were starting to head into spring, because it got above zero. It got like in the teens and the 20s above zero. Here this week, for the next couple of weeks, we're going to be in like the -30s and 40s. Right now, I think it's pretty warm right now. I think it's like -8 or -10 outside. But tonight it's supposed to hit like -30 something. And then we'll be into the -40s again for the next couple of weeks. Let's see. Tommy says, I heard that some stocks are already going up. Yep. Yeah, unfortunately, that's what war does. It makes a lot of people rich. And like I said, I have mixed feelings about us going over there and doing what we did. I mean, you hear reports of people in the streets of Iran, just like people in the streets of Venezuela. You hear reports of them cheering USA and saying, we love you, Donald Trump, because they were under a severe dictatorship. However, some people can say that, hey, what are we doing this for? We have problems here that we can't fix. And, that's where I'm kind of mixed. That's where I have some mixed feelings. Sometimes I ask myself, we have all of these resources to go halfway around the world and liberate another country from a dictatorship. Why don't we use some of those resources here in the United States of America to put all of the crooked politicians, pedophiles, and thieves that are in government? Why don't we use some of those resources to put them away, right? So that's one of the things that inside of me, it's fighting. It's fighting itself. Like, are we doing good by liberating a country of a dictator that was very bad to its people? Maybe we are, but why aren't we doing it here? I know we don't live under a dictatorship, but we definitely have some serious problems here with people that were elected and put in power to serve we the people, who definitely don't serve we the people. And ladies and gentlemen, I almost never watch the State of the Union address. And I watched this last one. And all you have to do is watch that and see that at least half of the people that are supposed to be serving we, the American people, care nothing about us. I mean, they said it out loud. So anyways, that's one of the things that I think about when I see us going somewhere else in the world to liberate, a country of dictators, is that we have a lot of people here that belong in jail. They belong in jail, because they've done terrible things, and still they're roaming around free and being allowed to do what they want. Okay, let's see. Let me go down a little bit here. That way I don't fall too far behind. Let's see. Deanna, how are you doing? Good to see you. You remember that guy at the border? He was saying, "Don't worry, you're gonna know what my name is one day." Yeah. And that's when I saw that was kind of chilling, or chilling. I have a lisp, right? I was kind of chilling, and I was like, wow. Yeah, you remember that guy too, Sunset? Yeah, I remember covering that too. Absolutely, Nostradamus. Absolutely. We definitely have a lot of bad actors. Sometimes I think it's best if we just started over. If we just did, I don't know what it would take. I don't think it's possible. But if every single elected official was just stripped of their title and we just started over with a fair election, an ironclad election where only citizens of the United States could vote. No matter how inconvenient it is, it's okay for it to be inconvenient. It's okay for a citizen of this country, and I'll speak about this country, not anywhere else. It's okay for our citizens to be inconvenienced for one day in order for us to be able to fairly and honestly vote in the will of we the people. I don't understand where it is that someone has a problem about someone having to show an identification in order for them to be able to do one of the most important things for their nation, which is to vote in the leader that is going to represent and run that nation for the next several years. I don't see why that is such a big problem, especially when you have elected officials that once they get in, they openly admit that they're not here to serve you, the American people, that they would rather serve others that have not earned the status of American citizens, or at least permanent, lawful American residents. It just makes no sense. In a way, it makes no sense, but in a way, it makes all the sense in the world. Hey, don't make me blush, Joseph. Yeah, Joseph, I've been I've cut down on my carbs over the last year or so, and I live a life of almost zero carbs. And I decided that instead of being on all of these crazy meds that mess up my gut, that I had to make a decision. And anyways, it's working out good. It's a good thing to eat mostly meat. And ladies and gentlemen, if you did not watch the video, my last video that I put out, all right, on the cheapest cut of meat that I've ever found as far as beef goes, the cheapest cut of beef that is really good, is cheaper than ground beef, and is actually really good. And in a way, I'm kind of glad that not too many people watch that video, because hopefully next time I go to Costco, they'll have another one there so I can buy me another one. Because that beef came out really, really good at the cheapest price that I've ever paid for beef in this current era of high prices. Let's see. Okay. I'm just looking to see if there's anything in all caps, okay, so that I can make sure I look at it. Hey, look at that. Big Bad John is in the house. How you doing, Big Bad John? Thank you very much, by the way. Here we go again. Yep, prep. That's right. That's what it's about. All right. How's little Big Bad how's little Bad John? Big Bad John. Good to see you. Yeah, that's one of the things that I'm hoping for, Space Cowboy. I'm hoping that this engagement with Iran doesn't last very long. I saw President Trump. Uh, I hope I saw him. I hope it was an AI, because you all know how AI is nowadays. I saw him on a short video telling the people of Iran, hey, listen, we've come in there, we've helped you out. Now it's up to you to take over and make the government for yourselves that you want to have. Something like that. I obviously paraphrased it. But if that's the extent of it, okay. Okay, good enough. If they appreciate that and that's what they want, if they want to be freed from that dictatorship, that's fine. But I still stand by that. We need to take care of the mess that's going on here. Ladies and gentlemen, listen. I'm tired of this 4D chess. I'm tired of it. I just want the things to get done that need to get done. I want the crooks. I want the criminals. I want the people that have hurt children and women. I want them to go to jail. I want to see them on TV in a either a blue, pink, green, white, whatever color jumpsuit it is that they have for their respective districts. I want to see them in that jumpsuit, and I want to see them go to jail. And if it takes the president doing the Insurrection Act to put these people in jails and put them in a military tribunal or whatever it is, they need to pay the price. How many of you are okay with all of the criminals that are roaming around now that we know are criminals, that we actually know are criminals, and they're still roaming around just because they have a lot of money? Is anyone here okay with that? I'm not okay with it. But again, what can we, the common person, what can we, the layman, do about it? Until we, the people, understand that we have the power, there's nothing that we'll be able to do about it ever. And that's one of the very frustrating things that, that goes through my head, is that look at these criminals. Look at these criminals still on TV, still living their lives, still having a great life. And we all know that they're criminals, and they're still roaming the streets with no problem. Let's see. Yeah, imagine that. Hopefully that won't happen, Warrior 21. Only a matter of time before we all have to take our rifles to the grocery store. Hopefully that won't happen. I mean, there's actually nothing wrong with it, nothing unlawful with that, unless you live on one of the states that that doesn't allow people to do that. But I understand where you're coming from. It's because of a matter of safety, and yeah, hopefully it won't come to that. But hey, thank goodness that we are able to do it if we want to do it. You know what? Yes, you reminded me of that. I did hear that this morning as well. Pakistan and Afghanistan. Well, the good thing about that, putting it in a light, at least Afghanistan is not a nuclear state. I know Pakistan is, but at least Afghanistan is not. Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, we're in the fourth turning. We are in the last innings of the fourth turning. Those of us that survive this next half of a decade or so, I would say 6-7 years. What is this, 26? I would say 6-7 years from now, we will be into a new paradigm. We will be into the spring turning, which is the first turning of the new cycle, right? So in 6 or 7 years. So we need to make sure that we make it through the next 6-7 years, and things only progressively get worse and worse and worse as we get to that threshold of shifting over to a new paradigm. Yes, here, Voodoo Queen says, don't forget that the great TP run cost the price to double, so don't go out and clear. Hey, no one here should be going out and clearing the shelves. No one should. You know why? Because if anything starts to run out at the store, you should be sitting back on your couch. Hey, you guys like my new seat? I finally got a new seat. The other one that I had is back there, has a leg that was kind of like broken. I was like, oh man, it's time for me to get a new seat. So anyways, if something is running out that you normally consume, you should just be sitting on your seat watching the internet or YouTube with people banging themselves over the head with toilet paper, because you should have plenty. I know that back in 2020, when that toilet paper thing was going on, I wasn't going out and rushing to get toilet paper. Plenty of toilet paper for the household. We had enough that we even gave some to some of our friends that didn't have enough. So yeah, that's what being prepared is all about. Oh, did he really, Spectre? Spectre says that, I'm assuming that by he, you mean the, I forget the guy's name, but by he, you mean that the old leader of Iran set it up so his son can take over? Well, you know why? That's why I believe that it should be up to the people of that country to suffer to the point to where they will actually do something and take over their own destiny by having the government that they want. You know, that's why it's so important, in my opinion, for other countries not to get involved. Because you see, unless there's real change, and what I mean by real change is change that the people themselves made happen with no outside force coming in and doing it for them, then it will easily revert back to the way that it was. So, but I guess only time will tell. Let's see. C. Moore, hello from Texas. Hello to you. Redneck Preppers in the house. How you doing, Redneck? Good to see you. Hey, there you go, Baby Root. I love it. I love it, Baby Root. 2 is 1, 1 is none, but 27 is better. I think I'm the one that made up that phrase, Baby Root. Are you stealing my phrase, Baby Root? I copyrighted that. Yeah, absolutely. Freedom seeds is a precious metal that we don't talk enough about, but everyone should have that. Lulu's over here growling because she hears noises. Whenever the boiler turns on, there you go. That's all right. Whenever the boiler turns on or my son opens the door or something, she'll go nuts. Even though she knows who he is, and even though that boiler turns on, 20 times a day. Let's see. Lulu, come here. Come here. You want to say hi? Come here. Get up here. Say hi. Look. Say hello. Stop growling. Stop growling. Look over here. Look at this. She's not gonna look over there. Stop your growling. Go lay down. Go on. Go lay down. Let's see. Silver is $161.50 in Australia. Oh, crazy, man. Crazy times. But those people that put a little bit of silver away over the years, they're now finding out exactly what it is that silver and gold are meant to do. They're meant to do one thing. Well, I can't say that about silver, okay? Because silver, without silver, we would not have the lives that we have now, all right? If silver went away today, we would go back 100 years as far as our standard of living. Okay, so but silver is meant to preserve your purchasing power. Okay, it is meant to keep the government from stealing from you your wealth. So that's what it's for. And I do believe that those that have been stacking silver for the last several years or for however long, I believe that there will be added value to the nominal price of it in comparison to inflation. Meaning that, well, this is a great example right here. All right. This is a silver quarter from 1950 something, but this is a 90% silver quarter, minted by the US. And I remember this because in 1989, this silver quarter, it took 8 of these. In 1989, ladies and gentlemen, it took 8 quarters in order to buy one Big Mac. It took 8 quarters. A Big Mac was about $2. Today, one of these quarters, the ones that have silver in them, all right, from 1964 and prior, one of these quarters can buy you roughly 8 Big Macs. So where it took 8 quarters to buy a Big Mac in 1989, today, one of these quarters, the ones that have real money embedded in them, can buy you 8 Big Macs. Not 8 Big Macs, what? They can buy you 4 Big Macs. I'm sorry, they can buy you roughly 4 Big Macs. Okay, so that's still a heck of a lot. That's a gain in purchasing power. Not only did it retain its value, but it gained in purchasing power. Okay, so let's see. Okay, I'm way behind. Look at this. Fridays, it was in the 70s. Tomorrow, it's going to snow. Do you live in Florida, Randy? Let's see. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to keep babbling on unless you all have a question or want to chat. If you wanted to also, I've found it a lot of fun going through some of the X posts. I don't go through the nasty stuff. I just go through the things that I'm interested in. And what's that? That's preparedness, that's gold, silver, and just basic up-to-date news. Not nothing crazy. Quiet, Lulu. Let's see. Well, that should, Randy says that lawyer in New York, the mayor in New York, Mamdani, I think is his name, Mamdani, said that he's on Iran's side. That's surprising, isn't it? I'll tell you what, I grew up in New York. All right. And I'm wanting, one of the things on my bucket list was to be able to go back to New York City so that I can have a slice of New York City pizza, because in my opinion, it's the best in the world. But I don't even want to go back there now, not the way that it is. And unfortunately, New Yorkers have really worked themselves into a corner with the officials that they've elected, not only into their city, but into their state. And I'll tell you what, New York being one of the greatest cities in the world, is starting to turn into what resembles a third world country. Did you all see the news on the shoveling crews that they were wanting to build? They were asking people to sign up to become a shoveler, to pay them $30 an hour so that they can shovel snow. I think it was called a snow shovel brigade or something like that. But in order to do it, you needed to provide 2 forms of picture ID. You needed to provide 2 forms of picture ID, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, how the irony in that requirement, it's crazy. Anyone that sees that and understands that these people are not here for us. These people are not here for us. And look, I wasn't born in the United States of America, all right? I'm an American citizen, but I wasn't born here. And I would vote for a law that said that anyone that wants to serve in public office needs to be a native-born American, all right? Anyone that wants to serve in public office needs to be native-born American because of a lot of these things that we see going on. Yes, I'm Dominican by nature. And yes, I like me some plantains every once in a while. I like me some sancocho. I used to love me my rice and beans, even though I haven't eaten them in I don't know how long now. Love all that kind of stuff. I love my Dominican music, merengue. I love all that kind of stuff. That's part of who I am. But I am American. I am American, and I want what's best for America. That's why I'm here. That's why I stay here. This is my country. And that's how it should be for everyone that comes to this country. God forbid if I would have come to this country and started bad-mouthing it and telling everyone that it should be like the country that I left. That's not the way it's supposed to be. I think that every person that wants to come to this country, that they should do a lie detector test. One question only. Do you love America? If you can't pass that, then you can't even continue the process. That would probably get rid of most people that don't belong here. Do you love America? Oh, did he pass that or did she pass that? Okay, then you can go to the next step. But that should be the very first requirement, is that you do a lie detector test and ask you a simple question. Do you love America? Oh, no? Okay, then why are you coming? You don't belong here. Anyways, who's the one that got me started on that rant? Goodness gracious. Let me see. Aloha Jay, how you doing? What predictions do you have as a result of the Iran attack? Well, I think that the markets are going to go crazy on Monday. I think that some things will go down, some things will go up. I think that the precious metals will go up a pretty good amount. I'm not sure about the miners. The miners usually lag the precious metals a little bit. You know, if it's true what I heard, that the Strait of Hormuz is shut down, then that is probably going to affect the price of energy in all forms, gasoline, diesel, even the energy that it costs that goes through the wires. But, you know, these things do have a little bit, just a tiny bit of a lagging effect. So that's why I said, make sure you go and fill up your vehicles tomorrow. What's today? Is today Saturday? Okay, so you got Sunday. Go fill up your vehicles. Fill them up with gas tomorrow. Make sure that you have a full tank. You know, I hate politics. Who is this? Andrew? Andrew, I hate politics. You know, every time that it's time to vote, you know, it's so difficult for me to make it to the poll. And I do my duty, you know, but it's so difficult for me because I just hate it because of what it's been turned into. It's been turned into a self-interest kind of thing with lies that make people think that the interest is towards the country when the interest is really inward towards themselves. I mean, look at yeah, we have people in there that literally hate America. You know, they literally hate this country and they're supposed to be serving us. You know, how crazy is that? That right there alone should disqualify them from being in office. If you can stand up there and pledge your allegiance to another country, then you don't belong in the service of the people of the United States. You need to be out of there. Not only should you be out of there, but you should be out of here altogether. I know that we have the freedom of speech, but if you live in this country and you're pledging your allegiance to another country and you hate America, then what are you doing here if it's not for some form of nefarious purpose? But then again, you know, what do I know, ladies and gentlemen? Okay. I'm gonna bring it down. I'm gonna bring it down in a good way because let me see, we got all caps here. LCM, how you doing? Hi, Rudy, praying for you. Oh, thank you very much. God bless America always. Absolutely. Hey, thank you for being here. Thank you all, ladies and gentlemen, for being here. You know, I was watching a couple of my videos the other day. Every once in a while, I'll do that for QC, quality control. And I'm like, man, my videos are just as bad quality as they've always been. I have no idea why all these people are still here. But you are, and I appreciate every one of you. I tell you that. I appreciate. You know, believe it or not, you all, everyone on this channel, everyone that chimes in on my videos, that leaves comments, all that kind of stuff, that email me. I have a great story, by the way, that email me. You guys are part of my life. You really are. You're all part of my life. So I appreciate every one of you. And towards the end of all of my videos, when I tell you that I appreciate you being there and God bless you and that I love you, I really do mean that because you are actually part of what makes me who I am now, right? I'm not saying that you are who makes me who I've become over the years, but you influence me in a way, either a small or a big way. And the way that people get influenced is the way that they grow going forward. So anyways, let's see. So I have a great story of what an awesome community we have. But first I have to get to the bottom. So anyone that's going to have a question in the next minute, please wait for a little bit and let me tell you the story before you ask the question. That way I don't miss it. But I'm going to get to the bottom first. Yeah, unfortunately, that's one of the things that's very frustrating, is that the people that are in charge right now, the people that have the actual power right now, and like I said, I try not to get on either side, but when one side is 100% wrong, they're 100% wrong, and that's all there's to it. But you're right. The GOP doesn't have a backbone. I mean, the first thing I would do, and I believe that President Trump, I believe that he's 100% correct when he says get rid of the filibuster. Because as soon as the other side gets in power, that's the first thing they're going to do is get rid of it. So get rid of it. You know, get rid of that 60 vote, you know, where you need 60 to vote in the Senate. Just have the basic vote of 51 or more, you know, or 50-50 with the vice president breaking the vote. Just have that, because all of the laws that could have been enacted that couldn't be enacted because we didn't have the 60 votes and he had to do an executive order for it, those are all going to get reversed. If they get back in office, it's all going to get reversed. And ladies and gentlemen, you know what? In previous years, I've not wanted to talk about this because it creates such division. But when you see a very clear division between good and evil, then that's it. It's really not politics anymore. It's good versus evil. You know, when you see something like that, you have to speak out, because if these people, these crazy people that don't love America, if they get power again, if they get in office again, our country will end. Our country will be destroyed. Heck, Biden almost destroyed our country in the 4 years he was in. Or maybe, I don't know if it was Biden or the auto pen. But how many of you here think that our country came this close to being destroyed in the last 4 years, to becoming unrecognizable? You know, you already know that every country in the world, almost every country in the world was rooting for Trump not to get in. Why is that? Because they knew that if that lady got in, that they would own America. And you know, you can say anything you want to say about Trump, but at least he's trying to do the best for America, for we the people. And just a lot of people just have it misconstrued. These tariffs, for example, I used to be 100% against tariffs. Why? Because it is we the people that pay those tariffs. And yes, it is. It's not the countries that are, it's we. We pay them through higher prices. That's it. However, I started thinking about it and I'm like, you know what? It's true. We do pay for the tariffs, right? It is an additional tax on us. It is inflationary, all right? For the most part, okay? However, it's extremely necessary in order for us to retain our sovereignty as a country. Because in order for us to bring back manufacturing to this country, we have to make it expensive for other countries to be able to sell their products to us. So once we start making our own stuff, we won't have to worry about tariffs because we'll be buying our own stuff here, made in the USA. And I don't know about you, but I can't wait till the day that I can buy a washer and dryer that was made here in the USA, right? I want to be able to buy a television that was made here in the USA. A lot of my favorite companies that I promote to you, ladies and gentlemen, are of products that are made in China. OUPES solar generators. I still love them, made in China. All right. The ion light. Where's the ion light? Right there. That doesn't use any batteries. Made in China. SIMPURE, the water purification company. Those things are made in China. But why is it that I promote those if they're made in China? Well, for a couple of reasons, ladies and gentlemen. Number one is because the counter of those items that are made here in the US, if they are made, are 10 times more expensive. So let's say, for example, let's pick, for example, SIMPURE, all right? The reverse osmosis. The under the sink reverse osmosis unit that I have from SIMPURE cost $150, $150. You take the exact same thing made here in the US, it's like $1,200. How many people are going to spend almost 10 times more for an item that does the exact same thing? That's the problem. And I would rather someone buy a reverse osmosis system, for example, that was made in China because they can afford it, than to not buy one because they can't afford one that's made here in the US. But once we bring all that manufacturing back to the US, and it's going to take probably a half a generation, in my opinion, It's not going to get done in the next 2 or 3 years. It's not going to get done by the end of Trump's whatchamacallit, 4 years. It's not going to get done by then. So hopefully we'll be able to vote someone in that can continue to bring manufacturing back. But once we have companies here making it here, it's going to be a lot less expensive and we'll be able to buy it from here. But for now, in good conscience, I can't tell you, hey, go ahead and buy this solar generator from this person that's made here in the USA that doesn't do half of what this one does, this small one. It doesn't do half of what this one does, but it costs about 12 times more. I can't do that. You know, I would rather you have something that, although it wasn't made in the US, that you can have because it's affordable than to not have it at all because you can't afford to get one that's made here in the US. So, you know, that's my stance on that. Let's see. Let's go down a little more. Okay. So, you know what? I'm not even going to finish going down. How far? I'm like 20 minutes behind, ladies and gentlemen. I want to tell you a great story about what a great community we have here in the AP community. So I did a video, I think it was on Tuesday or Wednesday. I don't remember. But the title was something that I received a message that brought me to tears. And that title is true. It wasn't clickbait. It's true. And if you watch the video, I told you a story about a comment that I received from one of our community members, Ariel, I believe is her name, whom has not contacted me yet, but I'm hoping she does. And she said something in the form of, or paraphrasing what she said, I started buying gold and silver years ago when I heard you talking about it. And I collected enough gold and silver that I was able to pay for my son's brain surgery. And then she said, I don't have any more gold and silver, but I still have my son. And I had a lot of people contact me, not only through the comments, but through email, telling me, hey, can you please, let me know if you can get a hold of this person, because I want to send you a couple of ounces of silver so that you can send it to her on my behalf. I had about a half a dozen people contact me asking me that. And I emailed everyone back and I said, as soon as I hear from her, if I hear from her, I will let you all know, and I'll be happy to be the middleman to collect everything and send it to her in one package. So Ariel, if you are watching, you need to contact me. Go watch last Wednesday's videos where the thumbnail's like this. All right. I have a thumbnail like this. Go watch that video, because there I let you know what email you need to contact me at so that I can talk to you, and so that maybe we can start to add a little bit back to your silver collection at the minimum. But that's what a great community we have, that people just reached out to me wanting to give to someone that they don't even know. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's awesome. Open carry in Florida now. Great. That's good. Let's see. Constitutional carry in Oklahoma. Yeah, we have the same thing here in Alaska, and it's great. But I mean, in all honesty, I would never open carry. I'd rather just conceal. I don't need anyone to know. I don't need anyone to know that I'm carrying. Hey, Brent. All right, Brent. Hey, oh, man, I probably missed you, Brent. But if you hear this, God bless you, brother. Yeah, I should come up with a T-shirt, that says "Lock them up." Okay, working it down. That's correct. Silver is antimicrobial. Silver is used. Everything in your lives has a component of silver in it. Every single thing in your lives. Even this T-shirt. Even if this T-shirt doesn't have any silver in it, something that was used to make it needed silver in order for that machine to be available to make it, if you know what I mean. Something that was used to pick the cotton or whatever needed silver. Yeah, I mean, everyone's buying silver. All industry is. Countries are buying silver. Industries are buying silver. Investors, I hate calling it investors, but I'll call it retail buyers are buying silver. Everyone's buying silver because they're waking up not only to the fact that it's going to go up in nominal price a lot because of its scarcity, but because it preserves your purchasing power. Before the next turning, before we switch over to our next paradigm, silver will be revalued. Silver will have its new price discovery, and it's going to be multiples, and I mean multiples of what it is now. And when I say multiples, I don't mean like maybe 1 or 2 times. I mean several times what it is right now. That's just purely my opinion. Eating this quarter is better than eating a Big Mac. I mean, I guess, right? Oh, goodness. But do you all remember when a Big Mac was good? You remember, 30 years ago when a Big Mac was actually good, where it actually had real bread and real cheese? Remember, it had real American cheese on it, and it was actually really good. Not anymore. Those days are gone. Which for me, they're gone forever anyways. Even if they made them good again, I couldn't have them. Yeah, I mean, it could very well be. It could very well be, Warrior. Warrior says New York will be one of the first places where sleeper cells attack. I hope that doesn't happen. I don't want to see that happen in the United States. I mean, I don't think anyone does, a lot of times when these things happen, like bad things happen within our borders here in the US, I don't report it a lot of times. I don't get on and start talking about it just so I can get clicks. I don't know. It's just I don't feel right about trying to take advantage of that stuff. Just like with this Iran thing, as soon as I found out that it was happening, I just wanted to keep abreast of it and see what's going on with it. But it's just like, it's just not a great thing that's happening. But who knows, maybe for the Iranian people, maybe it is a good thing. I follow a podcaster who's from Iran. He grew up in Iran and he escaped Iran. And he grew up in he spent a few years in a refugee camp after he left as a child. And I'm sure that he's very happy now because he's always talking about how oppressive that country was, even when he was there several decades ago. So, oh, well, Helen, when I say New York pizza, I mean pizza in the city. All right. Because, yeah, as a matter of fact, I think it might have been Brooklyn where I had that slice of pizza that I can't forget. To this day, I can't forget about this one slice of pizza I had in New York. I can't forget it. And that was when I was a kid. I still remember like it was yesterday. So yeah. Oh, goodness. Let's see. Warrior 21. This is all in caps. What do we got? You may be from another place. Oh, yeah, I am. I'm American. Yeah, I am. In my I shouldn't be saying this kind of stuff. But my old job before I quit the rat race, I used to work on base here. And great job. I had a great job. Like I had a great job. The people there were awesome. My boss was awesome. The only person that I really reported to was just my boss. I was like a quality control guy in the finance office over there. It was a great job. I had a great boss. I had 2 bosses, and they were both great. All right, Mr. Tillett and Mr. Church. And I used to, some people there were a little bit liberal, right? And I used to have so much fun because I used to like make jokes that were maybe a little bit, acist, I used to make jokes, but they already knew that I was a joker. And I used to make jokes like that. And then my boss would look at me with that face. I was like, you shouldn't be talking about that here, Rudy. And I'd be like, what? I'm allowed to say that. I'm brown. So I used to use it against them. I'm like, I can't be racist. I'm brown. Oh, man, those were some good times. Okay, okay. Awesome, awesome. Oh no, yeah. Let's see. Warrior says many get their citizenship through military, but we need to vet and screen them better. Yeah, we need to vet every single person. Everyone, everyone needs to be vetted. I mean, do you just let anybody into your home? No. I mean, I know that's a, that's a rhetorical question, right? Do you let anyone into your home? Absolutely not. And this is our home. It just happens to be a country. It's still our home. Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of things that we need to do in order for us to be as free as we were intended to be by the founders. Okay, there was no property taxes. All right, after 1776, that's something that they came up with because government has one job and one job only, ladies and gentlemen. And I mean government. I mean the system, and that's to get bigger. All right, especially a government that has the world reserve currency, and the world reserve currency is a fiat currency. It has to get bigger. It has to continue to grow. All right, and as long as governments continue to grow, taxes will continue to grow as well. And land taxes, residential taxes, that's in my opinion one of the most unconstitutional thing that can possibly exist. In addition to the income tax. Well, actually, the income tax is not unconstitutional. Um, it's how they administer it. Okay. Income is supposed to be the profit that you make if you're like a company. So if I make a billion gadgets and I sell those billion gadgets and I make $1 off of each of those gadgets that I sold, I made $1 billion. That's profit. That is profit. But if I go to work for you and I am trading to you my time for fiat currency that you're paying me from your expenses from your business, that's not profit. I'm not making a profit. That's income. So they changed it from being an income tax on profits to being an income tax on the income that you make. That's what, in my opinion, makes it 100% unconstitutional. Because if you all remember, well, not that you remember, but if you've all read, hopefully I have this right, but I believe that the 1% tax that they imposed, was it the 14th Amendment? Something like that. I forget, 14th or 15th Amendment, something like that, or 16th. I'm not a scholar when it comes to the Constitution, but I know it was one of those. When they imposed the income tax, if it was 1%, and it was on profits, it was on incomes, it was on companies, it wasn't on individuals. And then I think after World War I or World War II, I forget, they went ahead and started imposing it on everyone. And of course, it's only 1%. It's only temporary. But look at where we're at now, ladies and gentlemen. I don't even want to tell you how many taxes I paid this year. It was a lot. I could have gotten a lot of preps with those taxes that I paid. But it's one of the things I've often said. You can only fight the battles that you can win. There are some battles that are not worth fighting, because do you really want to fight the tax battle, not pay the taxes, whether they are or aren't constitutional, and end up losing to a government that has endless resources where you do not, and then end up living in an 8x8 jail cell? Because you're not going to beat the government. You don't have enough money to beat the government, and you never will. Unless you're extremely wealthy, you're not going to be able to go to court and not go to work and all that stuff in order to defend yourself, even against something that is unconstitutional. It just is what it is. It is the world that we live in, and those are the problems that we face here in the United States of America. And even with those problems, look at it this way, ladies and gentlemen, even with all of the problems that we face here in the US, we're still the greatest country in the world. What other country stepped up to go to help Iran? And, a lot of people may say, yeah, it's the wrong thing to do. You shouldn't be doing that. I mean, I have mixed feelings about it as well, right? But what about those Iranians that are jumping up and down in the streets in Iran cheering because they can actually see a semblance of what may be freedom, What about all of those political prisoners in Venezuela that were let go, that were in prison because of the words that they spoke and who they spoke them against? And have there been political prisoners here in the U.S.? Yep, there sure have been. There have been, right? If you all remember a little thing called J6, a lot of those people, I would say most of them, were political prisoners. And on top of them, there's been political prisoners also, through various administrations. But we are still the greatest nation in the world. We have a lot of work to do in order to fix our problems. And I believe that if we get rid of all of those treasonous actors within our government that don't love our country, I believe that we would be on the road to having, oh my goodness, people would be. Do you remember seeing the movie with Brad Pitt with the zombies? I forget the name. Is it World War Z? Yeah, World War Z. Remember when the zombies were climbing the wall trying to get into Israel because they built the big wall? That's what it would be if we could fix just a few of the major problems that we have here in the U.S. Get rid of those people that are supposed to be serving us that hate America, number one. Get rid of insider trading. If you want to be a politician, if you want to serve the people, it can only be for 1 or maybe 2 terms at the most, right? Just basic things that are major things. People would be wanting to get into this country just like that World War Z scene where they were trying to climb that 200-300-foot wall. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it would be a bad thing if we got even better than what we are now, because even more people would want to come here. Oh, well, absolutely. Let me see. Michael, Johnny Lideker. Hello, Johnny. Hey, thank you very much for watching. I hope you're in the chats. Johnny, if you are in the chats, say hello. All right, say hello. This is Johnny Lideker. All right. That's awesome. Thank you very much, Michael, for letting me know. Thank you for that. And thank you, Johnny, for joining in. I love it here. I love you guys. This is awesome. You guys are awesome. Let's see. I'm bringing it down, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see. Big surprise. Trump will be president next term. I've heard that. A lot of people were sending, what is his name? Newsom? Gavin Newsom. They were sending him because I guess he was thinking or is thinking about running for president for the next term in 28. That there were people sending him hats saying Trump 2028. I mean, there is a way that Trump can be president in 2028. There really is. But in all honesty, ladies and gentlemen, I don't want him to be. I don't want him to be president again in 2028. And let me tell you why. Because he deserves to live. He deserves to retire, to enjoy his family, to enjoy his grandchildren. And he deserves to have some peace in his life. All right. That's why. But he can be president again if they did it right. The only thing that they would have to do is have him run as vice president. He can be vice president, and have him run as vice president. And let's just do a hypothetical. Let's say that J.D. Vance ran as president with Donald Trump as his vice president. Then they got elected. Then as soon as they got elected, J.D. Vance could resign. All right. He could resign from that position. And then Donald Trump would be president again. And that would be 100% lawful. But do I want him to be? No, ladies and gentlemen. He needs to retire. He needs to go and live out the rest of his days in peace. Right? Because he's not living in peace right now. You know how stressful that job has to be. He's not living in peace. He's always being attacked by the media. They've tried to take his life, I think 3 times now. They've tried taking his life. His family's always being attacked. He deserves to have some peace and to go and live and enjoy his grandchildren and his family. That's what everyone works for in the end. And we just need to get someone in there that's not a liar, that loves America. That's it. If you're not a liar and you love America, come on over. Sign up. How long have I? Oh my goodness, I've already been on over an hour already. Let me take a sip of this. Lulu, stop it. Lulu's starting to growl over here again. Oh, that's absolutely right, Lily. We need more farmers. We needed to go back to the way it was, but it's never going to happen. That's why I say that grow a garden. At least learn how to grow food. Right? At least learn how to grow it. That way, if you have to, you know how, and have some seeds. Have some seeds put away. They sell seeds that have a long shelf life. That way, you at least know how to do it. But it's never going to happen. I mean, we went from having 95% of the population in the U.S. 100 years ago being farmers to now, I think maybe 3% or 2%, something like that. So I don't see us going back to where we have, that many farmers. It'd be nice if we did. 300-ounce silver will be here one day. One day we will see 300-ounce silver, if not more. I believe personally that it'll be more. I mean, you're going to think I'm crazy if I tell you what I think silver will be by the end. By the time that we're at the very top, because it's going to come back down. It'll come back down, but we'll find a new floor. And I actually think that the new floor that we find after everything is said and done, all right? I'm sitting here talking to you, collecting Social Security in 7, 8, 9 years, right? I'm collecting Social Security, and I'm still sitting here having a live stream with you saying, yeah, silver crashed all the way down to $300. Goodness, I wish I would have sold some at the top, right? I think that's going to be where it plateaus after everything is said and done, but it's going to be years from now before that happens. But first, we're going to have a crack up boom like one that we've never seen before. But that's not going to be a crack up boom that happens overnight. And you saw what happens when it happens overnight, like the last run up to 121. I mean, it only happened within a matter of a couple of weeks, maybe. We don't want that to happen, but we're going to have a crack up boom, meaning that we're going to have an upward trend for years. That's going to be it's going to be really super high, super high. So one day here in 7, 10 years, 300 is going to be the lows. 300 is going to be like $30 today. Like what $30 would be today would be 300. During the summertime, sometimes I see them. I don't see the plane spraying them, but I see the lines in the skies. So I'm not sure if that's exactly what that is or not. One of those things, man. I'm coming in fuzzy. Okay. That's probably my cue that it's about time for me to start heading off. Man, North Korea needs some freedom, I think. Man, those people there. The thing is with North Korea, man, that's a different story because I think the people there are so indoctrinated and brainwashed that I don't know. I don't know if they would. I don't know if they could handle freedom, to tell you the truth, ladies and gentlemen. You know what I mean? Like in North Korea, I'm not sure if they can handle the freedom because they've been so oppressed, heavily oppressed for so very long. But you never know, Yeah, those people, I feel very bad for them. Although every time I see a video or something of like a North Korean that escaped that country, they seem to assimilate very well to whatever country they go to. Okay. Yes, someone here says Donald Trump is very smart. Do you all think that was a setup that he did during the State of the Union when he said, I forgot the exact word, when he said, if you think it's your main responsibility as a representative to look out for the well-being of Americans or illegal immigrants and stand up. And I think he set them up. He knew exactly what he was doing. Okay, bringing it down some. All right, well, what time is it? Okay, well, look at that. An hour and 15 minutes. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to have a marathon day today, ladies and gentlemen. There's Forrest. Forrest, how you doing? Good to see you, brother. Yeah, it was an absolute setup, huh? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, this was a lot of fun for me. I don't know if it was for you or not. If it wasn't, I apologize, but it was a lot of fun for me. So I hope that you all had a good time. Jan, it was so good to see you. So very nice to see you. Thank you very much to Evita and Scott as well. I almost never say thank you to my mods because I always forget. All right, because I always forget. But thank you very much to my mods. Thank you very much for being here and helping out like you always do. I truly do appreciate every one of you. And I'm not sure if I'll put out a video tomorrow. I might, because I have two things. I have two things that I actually purchased myself that I need to do a review on because I think it's pretty cool. But we'll see what happens tomorrow. You know, tomorrow I'm going to treat tomorrow afternoon like the Super Bowl. I'm going to be sitting in front of my TV watching the markets at 2 o'clock just to see what happens. So it's going to be like a Super Bowl for me. But if I don't, I'll definitely have a video out on Monday. I try to make my Monday videos like my weekly news videos. And then if I put up another news video or something like that throughout the week, is because something that I think is very interesting or actionable intel that you need to know about right away. But that's usually what I do on Mondays. And I really enjoy doing the news videos. I think I should have been a news broadcaster instead of maybe joining the army and getting blown up. All right. Hey, JR, good to see you, my friend. We'll talk here one of these days soon. Yeah, the Super Bowl. You know, the Super Bowl when the markets open, when the silver and gold market open, to me, that's like the Super Bowl. So I have a Super Bowl every Sunday. Every Sunday at 2 p.m. Alaska time, 6 p.m. Eastern time is when the Asian market, when the East opens the silver market. All right, you have a great rest of your weekend, ladies and gentlemen. Listen, I haven't talked about this in a really long time. I haven't done this in a really long time, and I think I'll do it right now because I just saw a nasty video of a drunk driver. And listen, have a great weekend, but be responsible. Don't drink and drive. If you want to go and have a good time and you find that drinking allows you to do that, that's great. Have a great time because you deserve it. But if you're going to do that, make sure that you take a Lyft and Uber. Make sure you have a designated driver and something like that. Because, man, you really don't want to ruin the rest of your life or someone else's life just because you made a mistake or made made an error in judgment. So have a great weekend out there. Be safe. Keep your head on a swivel. Make sure you go fill up your gas tanks and get any of those little last-minute items that you may need in order to fill in the gaps. And hope that come Monday morning, everything will be the same way it is now, except better. All right. Having said that, God bless every one of you. All right. Thank you very much to all of you for being here and for all of the support that you have shown to me, not only now, but for all of these years. All right. Again, Jan, so good to see you. I hope that I see you next time. All right. I love you all. All right. God bless America. I'm Alaska Prepper. And I am, just a second, I am out. God bless you.